All right, this is huge. According to the latest Fox poll in the Commonwealth of Virginia, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, this is the second poll in a row, tied at 48%. Remember, this is a place Joe Biden won by 10 points. And
Makeup.
Okay.
He said that is.
Drop cloth. It's not quite dry.
I will take care of those.
No, you don't. I take care of my stuff. You get it or get ready. You're a little troublemaker. You don't know how to do things. I have to do them when when it's an emergency. Don't be
I
playing.
don't like this picture.
I don't care. Make me up.
Make you up.
There. No, you don't have to look at that picture. This isn't about you this morning. It's about me. You get top billing 95% of the
Shut up,
time.
shut up.
So 5% of the week I get top billing. I'm the number one dog this morning. Hurry up. Quit fooling around. You want that light on?
Yeah. 너무 새끼야. 여기다 받아주려.
Don't hold that in front of the judge.
I'm allergic to you. Are you?
I think it's the makeup, not me. I don't have any scent. Right after I took a shower. Don't get it in my eye.
I don't.
Yes, you did. You just brushed my eye.
Here.
No, on the side and not in the underneath.
Outside here.
Yeah. You, and you,
Shut up. You want to do it or you do by yourself?
no, and then you touched it like that.
Shaky.
Away from the eye.
Your eye is part of the face.
You don't put makeup in the eye.
No, I have to go to in the center. Stop.
Hey, what's this little double, triple thing? You must have had a good time in New York eating.
Don't close your eyes. Have even out. Come on.
Not my mouth too.
Huh?
You're like eyes and then mouth.
Shut up. You want me to finish it?
I have to get you some glasses. See, look at this.
What?
That's the mouth.
So
We don't put powder in the mouth.
you don't see it in your mouth. You that's what is it? Different color. Dirty things here. A spot is getting lighter.
Dirty things.
Dirty things looking. Nose is a lot of strawberry nose. You just you make me funny, huh? You yourself is funny.
Come on, Larry. Doing too much.
I'm not. You always do the same thing.
You're spending a lot of time this week.
This week,
You've never held my nose like that.
I did it.
No,
Always you.
You've never pinched my nose like that. Yeah, like.
Do you want me to finish it quickly?
Like that.
Okay.
I might want to inspect later and see what happened.
I sorry, forget it.
Uh,
I have too many things to do.
no, it's 2 minutes. You can afford that.
No. No,
Crazy, bro.
yeah.
John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-504-8790. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-504-8790.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center, may not be available in all states.
Welcome back, folks. This is Greg Elliott of the Prosperity Group. This is our last segment for today's show. We're going to talk about some things, and I want to, on our Facebook, we do a Facebook Live, and you can actually listen to our show and do a Facebook Live and listen to us and comment with the show. We try to give some live interaction there. And so just go ahead. So folks, give us a call at 1-800-440-0434. The song that you just heard was sung by my late wife and I, Marie Ellie. We sang that song in 1987. It's called We've Got the Music. It was written by the late Randy Estelle, who did our production with our project, We've Got the Music. Folks, stay tuned. We've got some stuff that's going on. We've got some stuff that's going on that's important that we're going to be sharing with you. So we're continuing. On our Facebook, I am showing what's called an annual reset. Okay. That annual reset shows that the red line is the stock market, and this is from 2000 to 2020. The green line is your cash value, and your blue is your income guarantee. That income guarantee shows a 7% roll up, and now we can get them as high as 8% compound or 10% simple interest. So we've got accounts that'll add over 30% into your retirement account for income right away, sometimes in actual cash. Folks, if you want to take advantage of these strategies, I believe it's crucial that you take advantage of these strategies. I really do. Those locks on the blue line mean that you lock in your gains typically on an annual basis. We are talking about strategies to protect your retirement income. Folks, if you want to see this, you can go to my Facebook Live, go to Prosperity Group, go to mymoneysafe.com, go to Prosperity Group at Facebook, and we can help you with all of these accounts. Patty, I want to, we did this before, but I'm going to kind of do it without the dramatization. But let's talk about a crash for a second, okay? And we got about, 9 minutes left on the show, but I want to kind of go over this, and I want you to jump in and interact with me. But let me tell you what's going to happen, folks. Not if, but when, okay? I believe that biblically speaking, we are in the days of Noah, Matthew 24, okay? I'll give you a link where you can get to some of the teaching that I do on that, but I believe we are in Matthew 24. And what did they do during the days of Noah? They mocked him. They said, hey, it's never rained before. You're crazy, old man. You're building a boat. It's never rained. Why do we need a boat, right? And they laughed at him. But when it started raining, the raining didn't stop. The floodwaters came. The people were washed away other than the 8, some speculate 9 in the ark, and the animals. Okay. Do you know something that people don't talk about? And I'll just leave it at that and I won't go too much deeper. You can go deeper. Do you know why they brought 2x2 animals? Yeah, it was to propagate the race, but also those animals hadn't been tarnished by the fallen angels. Okay. So go to Genesis 6. You can look about that. We'll talk about that. So these fallen angels were going after mankind and animals. Do y'all remember the goat man, the Greek gods and all of that stuff, that mythology? There's a lot more truth to that mythology than people think, and it's all in the Bible. Just a thought of what I'm sharing. So we are in the days of Noah, financially speaking. So here's what I expect to take place, Patty. When this government-infused market comes in, and I don't care what the government tells us, when it starts going and we're at the point of no return, it's going to be a problem. And what's going to happen, folks, is you're going to hear a headline like China goes after Taiwan. then Russia's going to go after this. We're going to have war. And I believe that what you're going to see is you're having a fight over oil, the petrodollar. Okay. Now, if we are smart, we will do our own, we don't need to do the petrodollar. We just need to produce oil. If we produce our own oil, then these plots from these other groups aren't going to work as well. Unless we have people that'll sell their souls to the devil for money at the expense of us. So here's what I'm saying. So let's say we have a war, the market crashes. How quickly are you going to be able to get out of the market? How quickly are you going to react when you realize it's not coming back? Folks, do you realize that during COVID, the market went down to 19,000 points? I think it was less than that. I think it was 17,000. It was low, much lower than people talked. Now it came back. So people are desensitized to believe the same thing's going to happen. If Harry Dent is correct, and let me pursue that article. We've got a little bit of time left. Where were we on that?
Right
article?
on the back, I think.
Here. Okay. So this is what Harry Dent predicts. Okay. And he picked 2008. He said you have to expect a bigger crash than we got in 2008 to 2009. U.S. economist predicts 2024 will bring biggest crash of our lifetime. Wow. Now, I've told you I think there's a black swan event coming. They may push it into early 2025. It depends what happens with this election if we have one. As markets inch closer to the halfway mark of the year, U.S. stocks ended the month of May with gains as the tech-heavy NASDAQ stole the show, finishing up 7%. The S&P was up 5%. The Dow was up 2.3%. Harry Dent gave a detailed update on the bubble of all bubbles, which is yet to hit the economy. Fox News. Nearly 2 weeks ago, tech and AI heavy NVIDIA announced a 10-for-1 stock split, propelling shares past $1,000 3 days later, making them an all-time high. I think we're going to see the listen to this, folks. This isn't Greg. This is Harry Dent. And he's been right, whether you like him or not. They call him Pessimist Harry, but I think we're going to see the S&P go down 86% from the top and NASDAQ drop 92%. A hero stock like NVIDIA, as good as it is a great company, will go down by 98%. This is over, Drenstess. We have never seen the government sustain a totally artificial bubble for a decade and a half and see what happens after that, he continued. But I can tell you there has not been one bubble, and this is far, far larger and longer. One major bubble in history that has not ended badly, period. Financial officer and forecaster Harry Dent explained why he's predicting very strong, sudden tightening of market as yet to fully shock the economy. Okay. The only edit to Dent's prediction is timing, noting markets are likely to show sometime between early to mid 2025. So he's in line with what I'm saying. I think we have an event in 2024. I think 2025, this thing comes tumbling down. And I want to warn our listeners. Okay, we got about 3 minutes left. I am a big philosophical believer that a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. I don't want the two in the bush. I want the bird in the hand, because that bird in the hand's in my hand. I got to get in the bush to get the bird. All right. I read on the article, at the center of the bubble stands the real estate market. Dent previously predicted the housing would see 2012 lows this year and claimed Tuesday that U.S. homes have already increased by double or more than what they'll soon be worth. No time in history has housing been so widely owned and so many people having second and sometimes third homes just for speculation, Dent said, while pointing out countries like China and Japan are seeing a rising number of residents buy empty properties as collateral to a potential market crash. Dent estimates what a bottom market will hit the U.S. economy in early to mid 2025. If you understand what real cycles are, you don't have to buy the most expensive home in history right at the top of the market and then moan for 14 years while it goes through the downturn, like 29 to 42 or 68 to 82. The author expanded, or what would have been without all this 27 trillion stimulus 2008 to 22. Folks, that's 27 that we've brought into the economy as debt for the last 14 years. So if you don't think it's going to crash, then just keep doing what you're doing. I'm warning folks, we can help you. We can lock in some guarantees. I believe in locking in guarantees when the rates are high, not when they're low.
Can you hear me,
Now's
Doc?
the time to lock in your guarantees. Thank you so much. God bless you, and we will talk soon. Okay. That's what I'm saying about Harry Dent. Patty, I want your comments. We're not leaving.
Have you got your
We're
ears
trying to
on,
leave
Doc?
2
Can you hear
times.
me?
Greg seems anxious. And this does make you anxious.
Yes, I
And
do,
a
but you
lot of
need to
people that
turn
we
your
talk
feet up
to
a
are
little
like,
bit, I think.
you know, I have a
Okay, I'm
20
sending that
gig
to you now. You
and I'm-
can't hear that at all?
My comment to them is fantastic. How long do you plan on living? And they look at you.
Ken?
So this amount of
Yeah, I'm here. You can't hear the feed at all. Is that what you're saying?
I can hear you a little bit. Can you turn it up?
How about me? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, but you're very soft.
I am giving you pretty much everything I can give you right now. I don't know why. Maybe do you have a earphone on your side you can turn up?
Yeah, I'll just turn it up on my side.
Yeah, because everything is set normally here the way we usually have it.
Okay. Well, then I'll just turn mine up. I guess somebody messed with my controls.
Well, yeah. I'll mention it to Robert. I think we got your music thing settled, though, after about a day of work on it on Tuesday.
Well, good.
We'll see what happens here at the start of the show. If you don't hear any music, just wait for my cue.
Absolutely.
But you can hear the feed when I turn it on, right?
Yeah, I hear you now, and I can hear the feed. You turned it off,
Folks,
but I
this
heard
is-
it.
we're not-
This was just very faint.
Okay, as long as you can hear what we're talking about, I'm satisfied.
Well, if you're satisfied, I'm satisfied. So then we have 2 satisfied customers.
What's on the docket today?
Well, behind me is the red cells with a clotting mechanism started the fibrin cross-stranding, as you can see. And I was going to talk a little bit about that. I had a patient that he's a little demented, and I told him to stop his blood thinner, and he didn't do it. And I took a skin cancer off his arm, and it bled into it. It's just been a big mess. Good for business, but
Well, blood thinners are tricky. I know I used to be on those things. I almost bled to death, I thought, on a cruise ship because I got a scrape on my nose and it just wouldn't stop.
why were you on a blood thinner? Did you have a blood clot in your leg?
Say that again?
Did you have a blood clot in your leg?
No, they did that because they put a stent in my heart. It's like he said it was the smallest
Oh,
vein
that's
in the
right.
heart needed a stent before he could put me on my medication to stop the arrhythmia. And that's when they put me on the blood thinner.
Yeah, I remember now.
I wasn't on it for a long time, but for a while it was a pain.
So your buddies in the AI business, they've got all these new scams going on.
Of course they do.
And your name is at the top of their list. They're coming for you.
Hey, they shut down the car dealers this week.
Did they?
They did. Somebody hits. I'm not sure which dealership it was or which manufacturer, but they shut them down.
Oh my God.
And when AI starts coming up with, better ways to get into your system, we're all screwed.
Well, don't answer the phone if you don't know the number. Don't give anybody your personal information. Don't share anything with anybody that you don't know and trust.
Don't do your banking on your phone or your home computer. Go back in and talk to a teller.
Do they still have those?
Some do, yeah. Not many, but yeah, they're there.
Or you could, make enough money that you could be in private banking and then you have a little bit more protection.
All right, Doc, I'm going to send you what feed I can send you, and we'll see you on the other side.
All right, buddy.
Or $87.90.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center may not be available in all states.
This is Dennis Prager. I am excited to announce the all-new Pragertopia Plus. You can listen to my show whenever it's convenient for you, all commercial-free and all on demand. Now with Prager Plus, search topics, guests, and segments all the way back to 2010. And now a truly exciting new benefit, my monthly online video get-together for Pragertopia Plus members only. This is where for an hour each month, Pragertopia Plus members get an exclusive chance to ask me anything. That's right, anything. It's on video. I'll be talking to you and answering your questions. We may even have a special guest every now and then. I've never done this. Submit your questions for me at pragertopia.com. This is only available to Pragertopia Plus members. This is our chance to connect like never before. Go to pragertopia.com or click the banner at dennisprager.com.
WGUL and W229DJ Dunedin. Powered by Prosperity Group. Come grow with us and reach your retirement goals.
Experience the best selection of cigars and accessories in the country. Corona Cigar is located at 4142 West Boy Scout Boulevard across from International Plaza, or visit coronacigar.com.
With SRN News, I'm Michael Harrington in Washington. Joe Biden and Donald Trump are days away from the first of two presidential debates. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
President Biden is at the Camp David Mountain retreat for several days of preparations with senior campaign advisors. Aides have signaled that he is preparing to be aggressive and would not shy away from using the term convicted felon to describe Trump. The former president, meanwhile, will be in Florida next week for 2 days of private meetings as part of an informal prep process. His team plans to use the debate to go after Joe Biden's leadership ability and governing record. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Former President Trump has told a group of evangelicals they, quote, cannot afford to sit on the sidelines of the 2024 election, imploring them to vote, please. He's also endorsed a display of the Ten Commandments in schools and everywhere else. Mr. Trump speaking to a group of politically influential Christians here in Washington Saturday. China has kept a key lending rate unchanged despite signs of continued weakness in the second largest economy's manufacturing and property sectors.
The central bank kept its rate for one-year medium-term lending facility loans used as a benchmark for other lending rates at 2.5%. The government says factory output fell 5.6% in May from the year before, slowing from 6.7% in April. Property investments fell 10% and home sales sank 30%. Suggesting a raft of measures to try to turn around a real estate slump have yet to take hold.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Iran-backed groups in the Middle East say thousands of their fighters are offering to come to Lebanon to join with the terrorist Hezbollah group in potential battle with Israel. The offer comes amidst fears the situation could escalate into a full-blown war. This is SRN News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-839-8484, 800-839-8484, 800-839-8484.
Helping you get where you're trying to go. Get digital media solutions for your business. Visit surroundtampa.com. Surroundtampa.com. Just when you thought your smartphone couldn't get any smarter, now you can add the AM860 app with local news, national headlines, and commentary. The answer is smart. Adding the AM860 app to your smartphone is genius. Get it now at the Apple App Store and Google Play.
For today, cloudy and humid. A couple of thunderstorms this afternoon, high 89. Tonight, a thunderstorm in spots, otherwise mostly cloudy and humid, low 76. Tomorrow, humid with intervals of clouds and sun, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm in the afternoon, high 91. Get your weather news when and how you want it wherever you are. Download our free app or visit AccuWeather.com. That's your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Caitlin Lawrence for AM 860, The Answer.
The following program is sponsored by Bay Area Medical Can Care Clinic.
Go, Doc.
Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Bill, your radio MD. Welcome to the show. I got Ken with me. Are you there, Ken?
Of course I'm here, Doc. Where else would I want to be on a Sunday morning?
I know. Well, certainly not Key West.
Key
That
West
was
is okay, you know.
that was a reference to Ken taking a weekend off and going to Key West. We docked his pay, though.
Absolutely. I was having too good a time. How are you
So,
today, Doc?
I'm sorry?
I said, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well. Got up and started getting active. Put a new lock on the front door, and I'm back on the crown molding. That foam crown molding. It's so easy to do and use.
Foam crown molding?
Yeah, it looks good. It looks real. I mean, you get it up there. You can put it up with
glue it on? Oh, you caulk it on.
You caulk it on. You just get some latex sealant, adherent, latex caulk that the painters use.
Mm-hmm.
You get the high gripping one, and you put that on the back of the foam, and you just stick it up there. The only hard part is cutting the corners, so you have to either have a miter box or a compound radial saw that you can turn one way or another and get the right angle. It takes a couple of cuts to figure it out, but that stuff's really cheap. I think for $250, probably for $500, I'll do the whole living room and dining room. That's not bad. You'd pay that just for a couple of pieces of good trim.
No kidding. I know. That's why I've never heard of this. Okay, I'll have to look for this.
Yeah, Crown Molding is the company that makes it. CROWN MOU or MOLDING, and I think they have a sub company that's marketing it for them. But if you type in foam crown molding or crown molding, you should be able to come up with it.
All right, made of styrofoam. Huh? Okay,
made of styrofoam. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, and you can paint it. What you do is you can either use some spackling mud to butt the ends together and fill that in, and then you just sand it down and paint it, and you can't even tell there's a seam there. It's really amazing.
I'm going to have to check this out because it sounds like it's really easy to use, light and.
Oh, it's light, and what I would do is I would paint it before I put it up, and that'll make it a little easier for you. You won't have to put drop cloths down everywhere. And then the only thing you have to paint afterwards is the joints and the seams. And that you can do it just take a piece of cardboard and put it underneath it so you can catch any paint that drips.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm gonna have to check this out.
Yeah, check that out, everybody. If
you want some crown molding, and crown molding looks great.
Oh yeah, it really dresses the place up.
Yeah.
But I would say if you have 9-foot ceilings, get the biggest crown molding you can. 8-foot ceilings, not so much, but 9 feet and up, you got to get bigger crown molding.
Otherwise, it'll look too small up there. Yeah.
Yeah, you won't notice it as much.
Yeah. All right. It obviously comes in different sizes.
Yes, it does, and you can order different patterns and different sizes, but it's all very easy to use once you figure it out. You do a few pieces and you're like, oh, this is easy. The one thing I would recommend is if you're going to do that is to go out and purchase one of these little narrow scaffolds. They don't go very high, but they can roll inside of a house easily. I bought mine at Lowe's, but I'm sure Home Depot and everywhere else has them. And they've got 3 little steps on them, one wider than the other, and you can adjust those. And it's very easy to use. It even has a little tray that drops down that you can put your paintbrush or your tools on that and work. So that is a good thing. I do not want you going up on ladders, Ken. You're too old and feeble.
And clumsy. I'm too clumsy.
Yeah, with a scaffolding, you're much steadier and you've got something you can grab onto, so you can have a hand free and you're not bouncing up and down on the balls of your feet. And it doesn't wobble back and forth. It's got brakes on it, so you get it in place and you lock the brakes and it doesn't move, and it's much safer. I would say most of the accidents that I see in older people, other than auto accidents and just 95-year-olds trip and fall, are people climbing up on ladders, Ken, and on step stools.
But what's very dangerous? Yeah, you lose your balance.
Yeah, the orthopods love those things. I think they own a lot of those ladder companies. I think Louisville Ladder was bought by a consortium of orthopods.
All right. Well, I think those they're not too expensive. Those 6 foot high, I guess they are of
Yeah,
scaffolding.
it was like $150. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good investment if you're going to use it, and I use mine a lot.
You're gonna paint or something like that. Yeah, it's good.
You got
Inside or outside. Yeah.
You got to change the light bulb in the coach lamp on outside your garage. You've got to clean out the cobwebs up in the ceilings, and it's just much safer. And
Is
get
it
up
tall
there.
enough to do gutters kind of thing?
Not tall enough to
No.
do gutters. No, not unless you're.
Can you put a ladder on top of it?
No. I mean, yes, if you're an orthopod. So speaking of accidents, did you see where we've got, I think, 4 now, young guys trying to fight the riptides up in the Panhandle? 4 of them drowned.
Yeah, I said it's a losing battle. Yeah.
It's a losing battle. So, warn your kids and your grandkids. Don't go out in the riptide. Now, if you do get caught in a riptide, don't fight it, Ken. If you just float, and it's fairly easy to float in salt water, you can just ride it out till you're outside of the rip, and then you can swim laterally until you get to an area where there's not a strong current. I did have one kid. We were down at the end of Paso Grill, which is one of the endpoints of Pinellas County, and there's a dock. Actually, it's a little fishing platform. It's made of concrete and it's on top of some rocks. Got railing, and we were fishing, and all of a sudden, there's riprap down there, and this kid comes floating by, and somebody's screaming, "Help! Help!" So,
oh my!
I jumped in and saved the little son of a gun.
Did you? He saved the son of a gun. Is that what you said?
Yes, I did.
That's what I thought you said. That's what I thought you said. Yeah.
I'd taken my shoes off. Bad move. And I'm climbing up the riprap with him, and boy, I cut my feet to shreds.
Oh.
And the father was like, and he was in shock. And I said, you can't let him go out. There's a riptide here, because you're at a corner, and when the waves come in up against the shore, this little jetty sticks out, and of course it just sweeps you right around it. So at any rate,
well, be careful out there.
They were stunned, and I don't think they were natives. They must have been visiting from somewhere, but that's important.
Dr. Bill to the rescue.
To the rescue. And one of many times we started saving lives, my sister and I, when we were kids. We were like 8, 9 years old, and there was a little 3 or 4-year-old that had fallen in the pool and was underwater, and we're yelling at the lifeguard, "Hey, they're drowning." and the kid was right beneath the lifeguard chair, so he couldn't see it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So we went down and brought her up. I hope she
get a medal for that.
Well, no, I hope she did something good with her life.
No,
but no. I've saved multiple people from accidents. We were down in the basement of a house we were rebuilding, and we were moving it forward back onto the foundation. So they had the big timbers and the jacks and all that. And I had a friend down there with me, and this guy spins around with a big timber, and I grabbed her and pulled her back. And that timber just went right by her face. And I mean, she would have been clocked for sure.
You've been saving lives your whole life, not just
all my whole life.
Yeah.
God, what an idiot!
Charge some of these people, Doc.
I'm lucky I haven't been killed doing this stuff. So, at any rate, that's the warning from Dr. Bill this morning. You've had your official warning on riptides, so
all right,
be careful. Now, I got another one I want to talk to you about, Ken. This is medical, and as you can see behind me, those are red blood cells with fibrin cross-stranding. Fibrin is a glycoprotein, which means it has both proteins and sugars in it. And this is what starts part of the clotting mechanism, or helps with it, rather. It doesn't start it, but it's more of the tail end, where you have this cross-stranding of these glycoprotein strands that kind of lock the red cells together and tighten up the blood clot, so it plugs up the blood vessel or whatever you're trying to stop the bleeding of. And we break blood vessels inside of our body all the time, little tears, just part of living. And so this little mechanism is constantly active in our body, sealing off little micro tears. But you need that when you have something like a major surgery, or you cut yourself with your utility knife working on your your ground molding.
Hurt yourself, Doc?
Yeah. At any rate, so this is Mother Nature's way of making sure we don't bleed to death. So there are different things that we can use, and the reason I bring this up is I had a guy come in the office, and he had a skin cancer on his arm right about here, and it
Kind
was
of pointing at the
squamous
inside of your
cell.
arm there by the elbow. So
Yeah, so he was up in the what we call the antecubital fossa, which is where they draw blood, up in here.
yes.
So I took it off, and I had told him he's a little demented. We've had to break up fights between him and his son out in the front office.
Oh my.
He hit his son in the front office and then accused his son of hitting him. I'm like, you cannot do that. You cannot hit people. But so he lives up by the Sam's Club, which is about 4 or 5 miles from the office, and he hitchhikes down to my office or grabs a bus, or sometimes he just walks, and his son doesn't know where he is.
Did his son come looking for him, or did his son take him there?
No, his son comes looking for
He
him.
went looking for him. Okay. Dad
So
just
I've
wandered
given
away.
I've given them both strict orders that only his son can take him anywhere. I don't know if he'll listen, but we tried to start him on some mild antipsychotics to see if we could calm him down. I don't know if he's taking them or not.
Well, you can't go around hitting people.
No, I said, look, you keep this up and he's going to put you in a nursing home and have you locked up. I won't go. He probably wouldn't. He'd probably walk off.
Yeah, well.
At any rate, so he didn't stop. I told him to stop his blood thinner, and he didn't stop it, Ken.
Ah, well.
So I took this thing off, and I thought I'd had it pretty well stopped bleeding and sutured it up, and turned out to be a squamous cell cancer of the skin. Those are the ones that take about 5 or 10 years to get out of the barn, but once they're out, nothing you can do. I've seen 2 or 3 Canadians die from these things. I guess they don't know what a squamous cell carcinoma looks like up there in the frozen tundra. They don't have enough sunlight to precipitate the whatever it is that starts.
Well, you get what you pay for,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they pay a lot and they don't get much. So
well, yeah.
That might not be purely accurate. But at any rate, so I took it off, and he comes back a day or 2 later, and he's got this big blood clot under his skin. We call that a hematoma. I'm like, oh my God. So we tried pressure dressings. That didn't work. So he came back a few days later, and I had to open the damn thing up. And because he didn't stop his blood thinner. And so then I had to pack it with gel foam, which is, it's like a sugar-based lattice of stuff that you just stick in the wound and close it up, and it helps the blood to clot. It gives it a substrate for it to stick to. And it's a good substance, and it's very safe. There's a number of other agents that we use to cause coagulation of the blood when we're doing surgery or when we have a big bleed or somebody's hurt. And these are things that were developed probably by war. You can say war is a horrible thing, but a lot of great medical advancements have come out of war.
Yeah.
And
penicillin came out of war, did not? I think it was one of the.
Well, it was in the 30s that it was developed, but the ultimate experiment was on the soldiers, the GIs during World War II. The United States and Great Britain, the doctors over there, some researchers developed it from the penicillium mold. And then because they didn't have the manufacturing capacity that we did, they shipped it over here, and we made the bulk of it. And by the way, my mother claims to be the first doctor in Kentucky who was not in the military who gave a shot of penicillin.
Oh,
and she had to apply to the FDA and the BBC and the CIA and the XYZ to get permission. But she gave it, of course, at that time, since it was experimental, they only used it in the most severe cases, and the kid died from pneumonia anyway. That was a big killer back in the day,
Pneumonia, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so soldiers were a testing ground for the penicillin, essentially?
Absolutely. We got to use those suckers for something. Probably a half of the deaths in war from disease anyway.
Yeah.
Or at least back then.
Well, it worked well. It works well. So
Yeah, the only thing they had before penicillin was sulfur, and it was powdered sulfur, and the medics would just stick it in the wound. You just paste it into the wound and bandage it up, and hope to God you didn't get a bloodborne infection from it. But that's what we had, and we've used different things over the years for antibiotics, including heavy metals like arsenic and mercury. That was used for VD.
well, neither one of those sound like they should be put in the body at all.
Well, it's a little bit of arsenic's not going to kill you.
Okay.
You
As long as
have
you know where
some
that
in your
point
blood
is.
anyway. I mean, there's minute amounts and a lot of stuff.
What about mercury? You're not supposed to put mercury in the body. We're not supposed to be anywhere near
Well,
mercury.
you just little itty bits. It's not going to kill you. In the old days, for a purgative in the springtime, you'd get molasses or sorghum and some kind of sulfur agent and a little arsenic and you'd make a little potion out of it, and the moms would give it to everybody in the family, and that would kill the parasites that you collected over the winter in your gut.
All
Of course,
right.
the kids were only 5 feet tall, and they all had one arm, but they didn't need 2 arms back in those days. They didn't have computers or cell
Well,
phones.
they were going to live to be 45 anyway. So
Yeah, who cares? And so
Well-
then some of the other things we use to coagulate are, what cyanocryolates are?
No, but it sounds like an explosive or something.
Super glue.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we use that. You can close wounds with that. It's pretty cool. You just pull it together and seal it with that stuff, and it actually helps keep the wound together so it can heal, but it also stops some of the bleeding from the skin. And a lot of the bleeding comes from the skin. The fat tissue underneath the skin is not as bloody unless you hit a vein or something. But a lot of the bleeding comes from the skin.
Okay.
And so we can also use polyethylene glycol, PEG. It's antifreeze. And glutaraldehyde, albumin derivatives. So those are some of the sealants that we can use. And then we can use caustic agents, something that'll burn the tissue and seal off the blood vessels. And this is for informational purposes only. Please consult your doctor before you do that on yourself.
Absolutely.
And then we have procoagulants that actually stimulate the thrombin. Now, the thrombin is the final common pathway in the clotting mechanism. It's a multi-step chemical process. There's 12 different steps in this. It's a very complex thing, and it happens very quickly. So you have all these things floating around in your blood ready for action. But of course, it doesn't come into play until there's some stimulant, like you break a blood vessel, and certain tissues will stimulate the clotting process. Obviously, you have to have that in the wall of the blood vessels, or you'll bleed to death every day, by the way. We'll revive you, and we'll start again tomorrow. We'll put you in that experimental arm of the military.
That could be very lucrative, Don.
It could be. So
Or
we
you're
start with
reviving most of your staff in the morning. So
yeah. Now you were telling me you were on blood thinners back a while ago when you had a stent put in your heart.
Yes,
and that's Plavix and aspirin, and they're not in the same family as the blood thinners that we use for things like heparin, Coumadin, and Xarelto and Eliquis. And now with Xarelto and Eliquis, we had to develop something specific because this starts way back in the clotting mechanism at the 10th step. And so you start at the 12th step and you go forward. And when you get down to the bottom of it, then the last common pathway is thrombin, another protein, and that actually starts to seal the deal. So the factor 10A recombinant inhibitors work for the Xarelto and the Eliquis, which are the two new drugs that we have developed to replace Coumadin and warfarin. because you don't have to do clotting times, and they're less likely to cause major bleeds, and they're much easier to use, and it's once a day. You don't have to worry about running into the doctor every 3 or 4 weeks and getting checked. So this is something that we use, and usually it's in the emergency room or in the OR when we don't know what's going on. Now, we don't keep that in the office. It's very expensive and we rarely need it, although I could have used it on this guy. But remember, when you do use it, you stop anticoagulation everywhere. So
Yes, no kidding.
so if you have a propensity to form a clot in your heart because you're in atrial fibrillation, may end up with a stroke.
Yeah, well, I had a little, like a mosquito bite or something. I was scratching on my nose and it started bleeding while I was on a cruise ship, and I was on the blood thinners and it wouldn't stop. I went on for hours. I mean, it wasn't gushing out, but it wasn't going to stop. And I guess theoretically I could have bled to that. I wasn't going to call.
Thank God.
I wasn't going to call the cruise ship doctor because they cost an arm and a leg just to say hello. So just kept something on there and finally it stopped.
There are some homeopathic things you can use. Zinc and vitamin C apparently will slow it down, and there's some over-the-counter medication that you can get now and spray on. So I don't know how effective that would be if you're anticoagulated, but you can try it. Anything that will get the platelets to start to stick together. So the way this reaction works is, let's say you have a little break in a blood vessel, and you got a little injury there. The first thing the blood vessel does is it constricts, because if it constricts, it's trying to protect itself and seal back off. Then the next thing is a soft platelet plug starts. So the platelets, which are the little, they're not really living cells. They're pieces of cells that come out of the bone marrow. They actually will adhere and start getting the red blood cells to stick together, and that starts the clotting mechanism. And so you get a soft plug or plaque, and you got to harden that up. And that's when you get the fibrin cross-stranding that you see behind me. And if you're not watching on YouTube or Facebook, folks, they look like little yellow stringy things, like silly, what's that stuff?
Silly string.
Yeah, silly string. And you spray it and get all your friends all upset.
Yes, it looks like silly string on tomatoes.
Yep. And that's red cells and fibrin. So that's how that works. And we have a bunch of things that we now have in our arsenal. One of the things that I use in the office again is the gel foam, which is a large chain sugar, and that makes the platelets stick together and starts the whole mechanism. So it's a fascinating phenomena that we have for clotting, and we have a number of agents that we can use for this, including the gel foam that I mentioned. There's something called WoundStat, and these are hemostatic granules that are procoagulants. So they're microadhesive, so they're artificial. So it's probably super glue and in small doses. And then there's combat gauze, which the medics use, and this is impregnated with things like kaolin. Now, you may not know what kaolin is, Ken.
Never heard of it. No.
Well, I'm shocked. I am ashamed of you. Kaolin is one of the major exports of Florida.
Really? Well, I've only been here 6 years.
So
I don't know all the major exports yet.
Kaolin comes out of clay, and it basically it's a form of dirt. So you can use dirt too.
I mean, can I just go outside and roll some dirt on the cut?
Yeah, and throw a little sand in there, and you get a little abrasion while you're at it.
Okay.
And then there's zeolite, which is another semi-synthetic chitosan, which is a procoagulant, and that's a protein, glycoprotein. Then there's starch-like materials, and that's like cellulose and what I use in the office. Starch is just a long-chain sugar. Alginate, you've heard of alginate.
I've never heard of alginate. What's that?
That is a starch-based product, and we extract that from algae. That's why we call it alginate.
All right. Well,
so then we've got thrombin, which we can apply directly, and that really will do the deal. And then you can use fibrin-based products and, of course, things like gel foam, which are cheap and easy. So these start the clotting process and help glue everything together and stimulate the fibrin cross-stranding. So there's a whole bunch of cells and proteins and chemicals that are involved in this glycoproteins. It's a fascinating mechanism, and you have to learn it for the boards. Oh my God.
Body is amazing. The body is an amazing thing. It really is.
Not to mention the soul.
Exactly.
Do they have an anticoagulant for the soul? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I have to talk to my reverend.
Yeah, can you get back to me on that?
Sure, I'll
Because
get back
I might
to you on
need
that.
some.
What we need to do right now is get some coffee and have a quiz. What do you think?
Let's do it, buddy boy. I guess
All
I've
right.
got too much. It's time for a mug.
Time to give a couple of mugs away.
Let's
We
give
have
some mugs.
2 Dr. Bill, your Radio MD coffee mugs. Give it away. If you're watching on Dr. Bill, your Radio MD on Facebook, he's showing it to you right now. Beautiful, nice, thick, strong coffee mug. And it can be yours. 2 of them can be yours. If you're the first person with the correct answer at 877-969-8600. The question today always deals with something in the first half of the show we were talking about. And this is way early. I hope you joined us early because Doc's doing some repairs at the house. He's making some changes. And I think it was in the living room, right?
Living room and dining room. Yes, sir.
Living room and dining room. He's putting crown molding up. What's different about this crown molding, though, from your crown molding of yesterday? Because this is definitely the crown molding of, the 21st century. So if you know the answer, give us a call at 877-969-8600. What's the new crown molding made of? 877-969-8600 is the number to call. Is that not correct, Doc?
There you go.
All right.
We'll send the mugs out to you. I got to order some more mugs, Ken. I'm running out.
Oh, no. Well, do that quick.
Yes, sir.
And we'll be back.
We shall return.
Experience the best selection of cigars and accessories in the country. Corona Cigar is located at 4142 West Boy Scout Boulevard across from International Plaza, or visit coronacigar.com.
With SRN News, I'm Michael Harrington in Washington. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has told his cabinet today there's been a, quote, dramatic drop in U.S. weapons deliveries for Israel's war effort against Hamas in Gaza. With his remarks today, Netanyahu is doubling down on accusations that his country's top ally is withholding weapons shipments, this despite denials from the Biden administration to that effect. Facial recognition startup Clearview AI has reached a settlement in a lawsuit alleging its massive photographic collection of faces violated the subject's privacy rights. Attorneys estimate the deal could be worth more than $50 million. The judge gave preliminary approval this weekend, but the unique agreement gives plaintiffs in the case a share of the company's potential value rather than a traditional payout. Clearview does not admit any fault as part of the deal. This is SRN News.
Dr. Bill for Bay Area Medical, located at 6399 38th Avenue North in St. Pete, 727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. Full service clinic with x-ray, heart imaging, ultrasound, stress testing, and minor surgery. We provide quality health care in a warm and friendly atmosphere. We are multilingual, well-trained, and certified. Most American insurance and new patients accepted. Bay Area Medical, home of can care, 727-384-6411. 727-384-6411.
Dr. Bill here. With social distancing and sheltering in place, telemedicine is here. Bay Area Medical Home of Can Care Clinic offers telemedicine for new and established patients. You can see me without an in-office visit. Schedule an appointment at 727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. When it's time for your appointment, type this web address into your cell phone or computer web browser, doxy.me/Bay Area Med. The cell phone works well and is all you really need. For computers, you need a web camera and speakers. We'll give you this address when you call for your appointment. We accept most insurances and travel insurances. Canadians and visitors, please call your travel insurance company for an authorization number prior to the visit. Copays and deductibles apply. Self-pay rates are available. Just ask. We accept credit cards, PayPal, and Stripe. 727-384-6411. 727-384-6411.
Dr. Bill here. My friends at St. Pete MRI and Sleep Diagnostics are your best choice for state-of-the-art MRI, CT, and sleep studies. Quality unsurpassed. 25 years experience makes St. Pete MRI my go-to imaging center. Self-pay rates are competitive and out-of-pocket cost a fraction of a hospital. Conveniently accessible from both sides of the bay at 750 94th Avenue North, St. Pete, near the Gandy. 727-577-2220. 727-577-2220.
Helping you get where you're trying to go. Get digital media solutions for your business. Visit surroundtampa.com. Surroundtampa.com.
For today, cloudy and humid. A couple of thunderstorms this afternoon, high 89. Tonight, a thunderstorm in spots, otherwise mostly cloudy and humid, low 76. Tomorrow, humid with intervals of clouds and sun, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm in the afternoon, high 91. Get your weather news when and how you want it wherever you are. Download our free app or visit AccuWeather.com. That's your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Caitlin Lawrence for AM 860, The Answer.
Go, Doc.
And we're back. This is Dr. Bill. Got Ken by my side. We're doing a show. We're streaming. We're Zooming. We're on the airwaves. We're riding those airwaves right into your ears. So,
Oh, wow.
Open them up.
There's a little 1960s disc jockey in you.
There is.
Hey, right in your ears, baby. Come on now. Good morning.
There you go.
I used to do all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
A long time ago. Hey, we got a winner, Doc.
Who we got?
We have Keith Heitzinger from the old country, I think. Keith Heitzinger of Riverview knew that what you're doing at home is putting up crown molding with what? This is something I never heard about, but you said it's out there. So what are you using for your new crown molding? It's not the wood that we all hated to put up on crown molding. It is what?
Foam and caulk.
There you go. Some styrofoam. Nice and light. I like that.
Styrofoam. So what's his first name?
His first name is Keith.
Keith. K-E-I-T-H.
That's right. Keith Heitzinger.
Heitzinger. That sounds German.
I was going to say it's from the old country. Yeah. Living in Riverview now.
Well, welcome to the show, Keith. Glad to have you and appreciate you calling in. Riverview, that's pretty far away from us.
It's a drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about 40 minutes or so from downtown, I guess. So
Well,
it's a
that's-
suburb, you know.
They must have increased the power at the station.
Oh, no problem hearing us in Riverview. Trust me.
Okay, good.
Yeah. In fact, you get down all the way to my house, Sun City. I'm even further away.
Wow.
Yeah.
That way they can make you leave your radio on and say, hey, Ken, we need you. Get in here.
Thanks to everybody who called in. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. And we appreciate everybody and we love you and we need you and we want you. And we're surfing those airwaves into your homes and your hearts and your heads.
We hope we keep you entertained.
Yeah.
Or at least informed.
Both.
What
All
else we got
three.
today?
So did you hear that on Friday, the Supreme Court ruled to uphold the federal law banning banning domestic violence people from owning firearms, from owning guns, domestic violence.
If you're under protection order.
Yeah.
If you
you're under
can't have a gun,
protection-
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and of course, the gun control people, the gun advocates didn't like that. But if you think about it, and they say, well, you didn't uphold the bump stock law, but, the bump stock law doesn't apply to felons. Because, felons and people that are in legal trouble like this, most states have banned them from owning guns.
Right. Yes.
So I think it's apples and oranges that the two sides are trying to compare. And I'm all for this, but it was 8-1.
Only I guess only Thomas dissented. Yeah.
Well, he's upset. They're picking the hell out of him.
He's taking it on the chin lately. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been taking it. And
He's been taking it. Yeah.
I don't know why they're picking on him. I mean, I guess he's more outspoken than the others. He's on the lecture tour more, and of course the liberals don't like that.
Well,
They don't like
he's the only one that dissented, so that it's probably a good. I think more because it deals with emotion. You know, the bump stock doesn't really deal with anything emotional, but when you're talking about domestic violence, it can get very violent very fast. I know a lot of cops, and the one thing they hate going to are domestics.
Oh yeah, that's where they get shot.
Yeah, just out of the clear blue sky by whoever, some wife in the kitchen or whatever. So,
and I just don't understand some of these people that marry these crazies. I mean, I guess if you don't have all the right filters in place, that you're going to miss some of the cues that come with getting hooked up with somebody with an explosive personality, anger problem, or latent dementia. And I guess that, maybe instead of teaching sex in health class, we should be teaching how to spot mental illness.
well, there's always I can change him. He won't do that. I can change him. He'll be better.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, I know. So,
I changed her.
Well, she used to beat you up all the time, did she?
Well, she's no longer with us.
Oh, okay. The big change.
The big change.
The final change. Yes.
No, I wouldn't do that to anybody.
No, you wouldn't.
Nah, that's not my personality.
Not good for business.
Build a nuclear device and take out the whole damn city.
Well, let me know when you're going to set that off.
I don't think it'll reach down to Sun City, so you're safe.
Give me a head start anyway.
It'll just be a small
I'll
one.
go down to the Keys.
20, 30 megatons,
Oh, okay. It'll probably take me out too. Depending on which way the wind is blowing. It's all about the radiation afterwards.
Yeah, well, it's time and distance. So the further you are away from it, the less effect it's going to have.
Yeah.
The radiation drops off at the inverse square of the distance from it. So if you're at 0, you're going to get the whole dose. If you're at 5 feet, you're going to get 1/25. So it drops off pretty quickly, depending on how far away you are from the event.
It's true. They had an accident when they were developing this in Los Alamos, and the first thing they did was everybody stand still, measure how far away you are from where.
Well, the young physicist who actually picked the ball of uranium up and took it over into the pig. The pig is what we call the lead container that we keep our nuclear material in when we're moving it around. He died.
Yes.
He was dead in 2 weeks, but everybody else seemed to be okay. They just marked where everybody was and saw who got sick and what happened, and all the other people survived, Ken.
Yeah. I mean, if I were in that room, I'm not going to stop and measure how far I am, how far away I am. I'm going to run fast as I can.
I don't think they understood that back then, but
maybe
they were still working it out. I think they were using soldiers.
Everybody,
here, hold this and see what happens.
Here, take this yardstick. Tell me how far away you were from it.
Yeah, I remember in the late 40s and early 50s, they had sailors on boats and they'd blow up an atoll and
I know
all around, and then they'd wait and see what happened to them.
It was terrible what we did to some of these guys. Yeah.
Well, of course, everybody said, well, it caused my prostate cancer, and Agent Orange caused prostate cancer. You know what? You know the major cause of prostate cancer?
What's that?
Living too damn long.
Okay. Well,
most of us have prostate cancer when we die, of the male species, that is.
Prostate wasn't meant to last that long. Huh?
Well, it was meant to last, but not in its. It doesn't have good blood supply, and it's in a very hot environment, which of course is pro growth of all kinds of weird things, and then you've got a lot of tissue that is genetically active there, so it's a tough spot, and it's tough to treat, and that's why we go to radiation and things like that.
All right. Well, what else we got today? What's going on in the world that you're looking at?
I tell you, I'm not a Mitt Romney fan. I never have been. I've never liked this guy. I thought he was just a silver spoon trust fund baby. You remember his dad was governor of Michigan.
Okay, well, he probably is then.
And he was a well-to-do Utah businessman, so he was a Mormon. And I've met a lot of Mormons and have really a lot of respect for the religion, although I don't agree with some of the tenets of it, but Romney's just so damn arrogant. And so when he was running back in 2012, one of my friends said, "What do you think of Romney?" I said, in the 60s, he left. He went to France to do his missionary work because, the young Mormons, they have to go out and do missionary work for a year or two. Did you know
Right.
that?
No, I didn't know that, but why not do it during draft age? Absolutely.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
And so we're back here protesting and raising hell and running around naked and smoking pot and doing all that. And he's over there preaching to people and trying to get, they go around in their little black slacks with a white shirt and toting their equipment to present in your front living room their idea of how the universe works and who God is and all that. Now they call themselves Christians, but they don't believe all the tenets of Christianity that were formed at the Council of Nicaea. So I don't know. I've always had questions about that. At any rate, so Romney is now still not in love with who, Trump. And he said it's a matter of personal character because Trump was convicted, or not convicted, but lost the suit to that woman who claimed that he raped her. I don't know what it was, in a clothing store or something. It's just, the whole story is just so.
Yeah, it was kind of strange.
unbelievable.
I thought that was strange too. It was like in a dressing room or something.
Yeah, I mean,
very
yeah.
strange
I
to do
doubt
something like that there. It really is.
And well, the reason she got so mad is he didn't come back. So Romney, in his arrogant, self-righteous way, says, "I draw a line and say when someone has been actually found to have been sexually assaulted, which they weren't, they filed a civil suit, not a criminal suit. That's something I just won't cross over when we're looking at a future president or past president of the United States." So even Mitt Romney's getting in on it and saying, well, if you have lost a civil suit, that means you're a criminal. Is this guy really, has he really been in politics all these years? And
Is he a lawyer? Is he a lawyer?
I don't know. No, I think he's a businessman.
He is. Okay. Well, that's probably why he doesn't know the difference.
He doesn't know the difference.
No, he just talks.
And this guy's been in charge of states, Massachusetts. He's been in the Senate. He's, been in business. He ran the Olympics one year. You remember that?
No, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, he was the Olympics. When was it? It was back in the 60s or 70s. The Olympics was the American Olympics was in trouble. I forget where they were having it, somewhere here, LA or Denver or somewhere. And they couldn't get it together. And so they hired Romney, and he went in and turned it around. It made a profit, I believe, that year.
Oh, he was running it. He wasn't competing in it. Okay.
No, he was running it. He was he wasn't
a contestant. He was the
business
executive
guy.
Right. He was an executive in the pre Olympics.
He was the executive that turned it all around. You remember that?
Yeah, I kind of do. Yeah. But you know what? He was not a very good presidential candidate.
Oh, he was terrible.
He got trounced pretty good. So I wouldn't
And
listen to him at all.
I was at the convention here in Tampa when he was running, and I actually left before he gave his acceptance speech. So I don't want to hear this guy. And that was in 2012. So my distaste for him goes back, way back, buddy boy. And the Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act.
Right.
He signed that almost exact same bill in Massachusetts.
I remembered that now. Yeah, that's right. They just ripped it off.
Yep.
That's what they
he
did.
was all for it. And guess what? It's never paid for itself. It's, we have been supporting it ever since they enacted that in Massachusetts. And now that the Affordable Care Act is out there, well, we're still paying.
Mm-hmm.
Well. I mean,
what program in this government pays for itself? None.
Post office.
Please.
They
millions in debt.
No, the Reagan turned it around. He made it into a business.
I thought it was still having some debt problem. I know they're talking about raising the price of a stamp again. So
I don't know. Maybe they are having trouble, but I know that Reagan, at least when he was in power in the 80s, he turned it around and it started breaking even and making a little money.
Well, Social Security and Medicare were supposed to pay for themselves, and obviously they don't. So
they forgot about this one little thing.
What's that?
Inflation.
Well, also, Social Security was never meant for folks who can't work anymore. It was never meant for that.
Yeah, but the problem is, Ken, is that as a physician, I feel like people should have access to health care. Now, what and how much, I don't know. However, how are you going to do that? Because most people can't afford the health care that's out there now. I mean, hell, I'm having a hard time affording it. But when people are paying $1,000 a month for health care and they have a $5,000 deductible, that's a lot of cash, buddy
It
boy.
is.
If you're making 60, 70 grand a year and you have something that's catastrophic, then you're already 17, $18,000 in the hole. You round that out to 20, that's 1/3 of your annual income. How can people afford that?
Well, they can't. That's why a lot of people go without health care.
And that's why I say let's enslave doctors.
That's not a solution, Doc. I don't.
That's
think.
not. That won't
No,
work.
I don't think that'll work. No,
I
you
don't
won't.
think
You won't be motivated.
Well, not only that, I don't think anybody go into medicine.
No, that's true. You probably retire. We don't want that to happen.
No, we don't want me to retire. We
No,
want me out there active and busy and
Yeah, it's good for you.
foam crown molding and
Right, come over and do my house when you're done.
yeah, and putting in new front door locks, and had to go out and buy a damn hole saw that was metal because our doors are actually very well made. They're metal frames, they're thin metal, and then they filled it up with foam on the inside. So you got to go through metal on the front and the back of the door, and that stuff's tough. It's tough. It's tempered steel.
So what kind of lock you put on? Just a regular old lock or a fancy electronic?
Well, here's the story. So we had a deadbolt on top of the lock on the front door, but it was one-sided, which means that, or it didn't go outside. It was just an interior lock. So you couldn't, you didn't know it was there. So if you came up to the house and tried to break in, you couldn't figure it out. If you smashed the window, and you'd have to root around with your hand to find it. At any rate, the batteries in the electronic locks went out. And so she came home and she couldn't get in because she didn't have a key. And so she is pitching a fit and cussing at me. And she actually threw a plate from Gulfport up to my office, which is about 5 miles away, and almost hit me.
Okay. So we needed a new lock. Yeah.
So then I had to go out and get keys made because she didn't have a key. And then I decided, well, you know what? If I leave this deadbolt up here, she's still not going to be able to get in because she probably won't remember the code to get into the garage, and then something will happen. At any rate, so I went out and bought a deadbolt that goes all the way through. So the exterior is a key and the interior is the throw. So I had to cut through the door to get that in because there was not a hole on the outside of the door. So that took an hour. Oh my gosh. That stuff's tough to drill through.
Well, yeah, I know. It's metal. It's supposed to be. Keeping burglars out.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll keep them out, but it'll certainly cut down on mosquitoes and flies coming in. They'll run into that and fall dead.
Don't want that to happen either.
No, we don't want to kill anything.
No. At least not on purpose, right?
Not well. Well, wait a minute. Let's double think that. So then, Raytheon, you know who Raytheon is?
Raytheon, they make missiles.
They make components, they make electronics, they make guidance systems, they make missile stuff, they make all kinds of stuff. And you know where they have a big plant?
I think California, isn't it?
St. Petersburg.
St. Pete, really? I didn't know they're in St. Pete.
They used to have 2 plants, and they closed down one because, things are getting smaller, so they don't need as much, and they've got robotics and all of that. But they are the ones who helped develop the guidance system for the Iron Dome, for the Israelis' Iron Dome. And so the Israelis are expanding this because of the increased threats from Iran and her surrogates, Hamas and Hezbollah and all those people over there. And they're not very nice, by the way.
Do we have an Iron Dome system here?
We don't talk about that, Ken.
Well, we must have one.
We actually get all of the technology that the Israelis are helping to develop and paying for. We actually get about 2/3 of it.
I hope so.
we're not stupid.
No.
I mean, we may be ignorant and a little ass backwards in some areas, but we know when to hold on to something. So Raphael, which is the upgraded Iron Dome system that they're putting into place because they're having a hard time shooting down these low-flying drones, is being developed and deployed by a consortium of businesses in Israel and Raytheon, and I'm sure there's some domestic businesses that are involved because they can or we can benefit from the technology. Now, we don't claim to have an Iron Dome, but we have all the materials, and it probably would, take them 10 minutes to put it together.
Yeah. Just have to get them by the border. That's all you really need.
Yeah. And then, Netanyahu's losing a lot of support back at home because one of his big backers, block of voters are the ultra-Orthodox Jews, the Hasidim.
Hardline guys. These are hardline guys.
They're hardliners. They're supposedly pacifists too. I don't know how that is, but they're not drafted into the military. And so everybody else is upset. And they're like, why are you giving these guys a free pass and special tax breaks? Because they're conscientious objectors or whatever, when the rest of us have to go out there and do the fighting. So, but that's a big part of his support base are the conservative Jews in Israel. So he's in trouble. Once the war is over, he's gone for sure.
Well, he always seems to come back. He always seems to hang in there somehow.
Yes, he does. And I think that's in part because he knows how to compromise, but also think it's in part because he's been pretty bold in his defense of Israel and his defense of his policies. And, one of the things that he's tried to do is make Israel more like the United States by having an independent judiciary. Well, they're a parliamentary country, and, they don't actually have a constitution.
They don't?
No, because Ben-Gurion was the father of Israel. He was a socialist, communist, and most of the country didn't want that. And so they could never come to an agreement on
After all these years, they've never put a constitution
This is
in
the
place.
Jewish side of the family. You can put 3 Jews in a room, give them 2 topics, and they'll come out with 9 different opinions.
Okay. Well,
it's
you think they would have settled that one?
It's in our nature to argue and disagree.
Well, it's been like 60 years. Come on, guys.
Well, we've been busy fighting.
That's right. Everybody, yeah.
Fighting the Arabs and Muslims. Come on.
That's for sure. Yeah.
We'll get to it. We'll work our way around.
He's like their Teflon president, though. He really is. He comes back.
He keeps coming back. So, did you hear about Youngkin? The governor of Virginia.
What about Youngkin?
He's being touted for the VP spot on Trump's ticket. And I think Trump likes this guy. And he's very popular both with Democrats and Republicans in Virginia. And they think that he would have a lot of appeal nationally. So he went in and changed a lot of things around. And he got rid of some of the stupid stuff that was going on with their educational system in Virginia and turning around some of the laws. Virginia's been pretty liberal for the past few decades, even though it was the seat of the Confederacy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, Richmond was the titular capital of the Confederacy until Grant started marching down on them, and they moved.
I was reading this morning that Trump has apparently made up his mind on a vice presidential candidate. I don't know. He didn't say when he's going to announce it. Could go on weeks before.
At the convention, he's going to announce it.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
Yep.
what, next month? That's July or August? I can't remember.
I think it's August.
Is that in August? Okay.
I think the Democrats have theirs first in July and then Republicans in August. I don't know. They had to work out something.
Yeah, I think Democrats are in July in Chicago. I think you're right there. Yeah.
I think so. It's a repeat of 68, and then there are going to be all kinds of people protesting. Should be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a ball. Yeah, I can't wait.
Get a hotel room, and if you get one on the Miracle Mile, right on the strip there, you can actually
very
don't
nice.
have to go outside to see all the action. You just view it from your hotel room.
That's right, exactly. Doc, we got about 30 seconds left here. You want to Plug the business.
I'm Dr. Bill, your radio MD. I'm at 727-384-6411, 727-384-6411. We are your one-stop body shop, 6399 38th Avenue North. And don't forget, Southern
20
Europe,
seconds.
very
20
cheap.
now. 20 seconds now, Doc.
And don't forget, Southern Europe is very cheap now. The euro is upside down. So if you're going to go on a vacation cheap, go to Portugal and Spain and Italy. You'll save some money. I'm Dr. Bill, your radio MD.
Thank you, Doc. We'll talk to you next week.
Love you, buddy.
You too. Bye-bye.
Prosperity Group. See them online today at mymoneyissafe.com.
Experience the best selection of cigars and accessories in the country. Corona Cigars, located at 4142 West Boy Scout Boulevard.